Right, hello everybody out there on YouTube and Facebook and the rest of the internet. I wanted to go over a really sweet guitar pickup system that is a marriage of some of the best acoustic guitar pickups that I have been able to find. So this is a Taylor GS Mini, and I wanted to show you some of the capabilities of how you can bring this system into the pickup system made by LR Baggs called the Anthem. So traditionally, the Anthem pickup has two inputs, and the inputs are made for a under-the-saddle piezo pickup or piezo pickup, and then an internal microphone. The microphone seems to be the most, the most marketed and the most important change of the pickup itself in the system. It's marketed to be low or no feedback, very feedback resistant, and it also is marketed to just add a lot of fidelity to pickup systems that are traditionally lacking, such as piezo only pickups or single source pickups, and I find that to be really true as well. The pickups that come inside of Taylor's are, in my opinion, some of the very best that you can get by a factory guitar. I don't know if any factory guitars come with the LR Baggs, and I'm not really sure, even if it were the case, if it came with the Anthem pickup, that it would be better than the system of these two pickups together. So I'll go ahead and grab the microphone or the camera here and bring it closer. I don't know if we can see it. But anybody that's familiar with the ES2 system, there's three surface mount transducers that are pushing up against this bridge that capture all of the sound for the ES2 pickup. And traditionally, piezo and transducer pickups are under a lot of pressure, or they're just not putting out a lot of volume, but for whatever reason these pickups seem to be a great design. So I'm going to go ahead and just roll the volume of the pickup in, and right now all we're hearing is going to be the surface mount transducers here. This is just the Taylor as it may come stock. This is what you would hear. Sounds very natural to me, though now that I'm starting to learn more about pickups and the capabilities, it really I can see some of the aspects of the microphone that are helping in the long run. But one of the things I like so much about this is the ability for the guitar to be picked up through the transducer, which on several guitars, magnetic pickups will not pick that up at all. And many guitars where it's a piezo pickup here, the only body sensations that pick up in those types of pickups seem to be right when you hit the strings and kind of nowhere else. For whatever reason, the sensitivity is not as organic. It seems to cut off as soon as you get away from the pickup itself, and it won't pick up some of these other body sensations so crisply. So that pickup itself is great. Now, what is interesting about these, and what I admire Taylor for sure, is that this ES2 system is in every single one of their guitars from its implementation onward. This guitar, a $500 GS Mini, has the same pickup as their $3,500, $4,000 custom-made guitars, and I think that is just a really great philosophy, because I think once you develop a system, especially for live use, where you have people going out and representing your guitars on stages, I think that it even makes the cheap models and makes people feel excited to see those guitars. You know, sound guys may appreciate them, and it just builds a good rapport between musicians and audience members and everybody who's dealing with the system. Whereas a lot of guitar manufacturers will only save good pickups for high-end instruments, and they'll put the cheapest pickup they can find inside of their lower-end models. And I just don't really like that. I don't really like the way that ends up affecting everybody else. But I understand it. I just think this is exceptional that they do that. So you can hear, once again, it sounds like a guitar. We're off to a good start. The piezos themselves all combine into one connection, a 2.5 millimeter jack that traditionally plugs into a ES preamp up here, an ES2 preamp, which would be bass, treble, and volume. And that has some other features that might be good for shaping the tone, but it is only shaping the tone of this transducer system that they've installed, which is a great transducer system. Now, in the lower end models, the Academy series, the Baby Taylor, Big Baby Taylor, and the GS model, they installed this pickup here, which does less than the ES system. It has a tuner, which on mine still works, and I can tell you more about that, but it has tone and volume, which were very useful. And when I first owned this guitar, I played with just this system, plugged it straight into amplifiers, sorry, not amplifiers, but mixers, straight into PA speakers if I, was just playing a pickup gig around town and didn't have time or didn't want to set up a mixer. I would just plug this straight in, and it was so nice to have the tone and the volume right there. Very simple, great pickup. As I started to learn more about pickups, and overall, I guess I'm just a little crazy, but I'm totally okay with that because I discovered that I could marry this system with the LR Baggs. So basically, instead of the piezo that is traditionally used with the LR Baggs, I've installed the ES system where the traditional piezo would go. The connection is the exact same. I simply unplugged it from here and plugged it inside. Now, if you blend the mic with this pickup, you start to receive the benefits of the microphone, and you still maintain a lot of the great parts of this piezo. And in my opinion, this is one of the absolute best, most natural sounding pickups that I have ever come across, and I am very stoked by it. I've played with this system now for a while, probably about almost a year. So that is just the ES2. Now I'll start to blend in the top end of the mic. Forth. This is the mic and the pickup fully on. Now I'll roll it off just to the pickup. That almost better, but there are still many reasons. And I'll keep going. I won't shut up about this. This is the microphone back on. The lead lines here, so. This is just the pickup. compression that the pickup is doing naturally. You know, not not awful, not terrible, still useful, but you can hear a little bit of what they would call like the quack of a piezo pickup. And we'll bring the mic back on. And I'll do that same lead line. Now, what is so cool about this? I'll roll the pickup back onto the mic, but this is just the pickup. Let me roll it on. All the articulation of the high end really coming through. I'll bring it back on. All of that is just added upper high end. And it's not harsh high end either. And I think having, especially if you have an EQ pedal like a preamp or something outside of this, I think having that extra high end is only going to help you in your clarity for having a very rich acoustic tone. You can always cut it back, but if it's not there, it's not like you can add it. So even if you play the guitar traditionally and you're just strumming and you're just banging on the strings and you're not doing anything fancy at all, it's still going to add a richness to your tone. One of the aspects that I love so much about it myself is if I begin looping or if I'm a very percussive player, this will add so much articulation to your percussive technique. So I'll go ahead, the mic is on, I'm going to roll it back off as I'm just tapping on the edge here. And I haven't heard this with headphones in, so it's actually really interesting to me, but and I know you may be thinking at some capacity that could be bad for feedback, but I have played so close to I've plugged this into a QSC CP12 full range PA speaker very close to me, and it does not feedback very easily at all, especially with a feedback suppressor like this. The only difficulty, I had to cut away some of it, so when I go to install it, it sits just right in there. Now it's snug, it's not coming out, which is great, but the high end there is still located inside because the microphone is inside. The high end is still present throughout that entire space. So to me, that is as natural of a sound that I could hope for out of a pickup. Most pickups that I've seen that do contain a microphone are either blended with a magnetic situation, or they're blended like the LR Baggs Anthem was meant to be blended with a under the saddle piezo, which when on the full expression of that system, on the when it's blended completely to the piezo, it just doesn't sound good to me. And I've seen enough complaints online of people talking about that too, whereas many people buy these guitars because of how amazing the pickup is just installed on the guitar. So you're already starting with this awesome foundation, and you only increase it with that extra flexibility. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be gigging with this guitar very much anymore. Now that I've said all that, and I love the pickup, it is a very natural sound. But I find myself looping guitar a lot now, and using like a octave pedal to make like bass sounds, and in that way the guitar is starting to like feed back at higher volumes because I'm compressing the low end and sending that low end through an octave pedal. I'm not doing what you should do to a tone like this, but if you're going for a very, very natural sound, I think this may be the sound that would be most useful to you. So best of luck. I guess I should say also you have to get the larger version, the most expensive version of the Anthem in order for this to work, the full version. They have an SL, and then they have a lyric pickup, which is just the mic itself. And one of the other cool aspects of that is I thought it was completely blending to the mic when I turned it on and was using. When I play, I blend it all the way to the mic and no feedback, nothing. I thought it was all the microphone that was making all that rich bass sound and was so stable. But what is actually happening is when you blend all the way to the piezo, in this case the expression system, it's all the expression system, no microphone at all. So you're getting that. And when you blend the microphone in, it is never actually going to the microphone completely. I had to speak with somebody at LR Baggs to learn this, but it's never going to just the microphone. It's actually taking the high end of the piezo, and it's rolling off the high end, and it's replacing that high end with microphone. So when you are blended to the piezo itself, it's completely the piezo. The microphone's out of the equation. But as you roll it in, you're getting more of the microphone and less of the top end of the piezo. So I'm sure it may sound good with the way that it's meant to be installed, but I just didn't want to drill another hole in this guitar to install a pickup that I had no interest in really hearing the sound of anyway. So this may be really good for Taylor players. There's another company called JJB Electronic that sells surface mount transducers for your acoustic guitar as well. And they're discs, like 2 or 3 discs, and those can be used with adhesive on the underside of your guitar. And they have a 2.5 millimeter jack as well, JJB Electronic or Electronics, and that can be plugged in as well. So you could maintain the microphone and then experiment with different pickups that you can use instead of the piezo. And I think there's just a lot of different ways to go about it. And I posted up another video where I installed this system in a very similar way with a couple of differences on a banjo, and got some really great results with that too. So I'm going to stop talking because I think I've explained everything that I could about this. I thought about one more thing. I just installed another cheap surface mount transducer in order to allow this tuner to still be useful. So that's not really that cool, but if I'm at a gig and I just roll the volume down, this tuner still functions. If I didn't have that, then this would just be a waste of space, and I would have to install another tuner, a clip-on tuner elsewhere on the guitar. But I just thought it would be nice to be able to tune the guitar and not have that wasted space. Whereas if you're using this on a EE expression system guitar, the 3 knobs up here may be completely useless. You could run the 9-volt battery port back here to the Anthem. That might be helpful in some ways, but you won't be rendering your nice Taylor pickup useless, but you may lose some of that control over the tone that you once had. in lieu of the fidelity of the pickup. So, wow, another 20 minutes of talking about some nerdy acoustic guitar stuff. I hope you guys enjoy it and you find it helpful in some way. Feel free to just subscribe if you find any of this useful, and I'll post about other weird stuff in this same vein. Anyway, take care. Peace.